Hello, Mr. Randy Duck, and welcome back for another video. Today I've got 3 replays to show you in the Tier 9 Swedish premium tank, the Spirit of War, which is a new premium tank which is released on Tuesday, I believe. I'm a little bit slow on getting the video up because unfortunately I've been away for work. But yeah, we got up today so you can see what it's about. Now, I say new lightly because this is basically pretty much, with a few minor details, the same tank as the Strv K, which is already there, which has been out, for a while, with a few minor details. And the best way, to sum it up, apart from the obvious, where it has this fantastic camo, it's a licensed vehicle, and this camo is really, really nice. Skin is really good. Is it basically has. You give up mobility, you lose the top speed of the Strv K has, you lose about 4 kilometers an hour top speed, and you trade that up with getting a good turret, and the turret is a lot better than the Strv K. The Strv K was always one of those ones where it's like, yeah, the turret can bounce shots, but quite often shots just do go in, where this turret is actually very reliable, and apart from facing those big Tier 10 nasty TDs like the E4 etc with obvious high penetration, when you hold down you can bounce quite a lot of shots. So that is pretty much a basic summary, but that's the main difference between the Strv K and the Spirit of War, is just the difference of you lose top speed and a little bit of mobility, but you trade it off with more turret armor. Now, is this tank worth it? It's 16,000 gold, which is a lot of gold. And if you already got the Strv K, then no, it's not worth it. And I think at 16,000 gold, that's a lot to pay for Tier 9 Heavy. So I find it quite difficult to say it's worth it, if I'm honest. I don't think, it's not really, not in my opinion. But having said that, the tank is really nice, and I actually really like it. The skin's fantastic, and it's a real shame you can't just get this skin on the Strv K. I mean, if you want this skin, you have to buy the tank, and 16,000 gold, yeah, that is a lot of money. You're better off waiting until tanks come in a bundle. But having said that, will this come in a bundle? Probably not, because they might not sell it again, as it is a licensed vehicle. You don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much the basics of the tank. Now, what I'm going to do, I've got 3 replays for you, and it's easier just to show you what the tank can do, rather than make you all stand here listening to me rambling on. So let's get to it and move on to the gameplay. Okay, so here we are for replay number 1 on Airfield. There is 1 enemy fun police in the game and no enemy light tanks, and this time is a Tier 10 lobby. So we are bottom tier, and yeah, initially we're going to move to the sort of left-hand position. There is a fun police in the game. I didn't fancy playing the hill on the right just because I didn't want to get focused by the fun police, the artillery. Although I would be quite good in that position, with the fact that you've got the 10 degrees of gun depression and a fantastic turret. So when you can use that gun depression and go hold down and just use your turret armour, then you're going to be able to bounce quite a lot of shots in this tank. But initially we pulled up to this position and we realised there's going to be a heavy crossing. We want to just aim and get a shot in. Now, I am running on this tank at the moment the traction system, optics and the reloader. Now, I run the traction system over the stabs, just to try and get that extra top speed, because obviously, like I say, this isn't as quick as the Strv K, and with the traction system it puts you up to about 46 kilometers an hour, which is pretty nice. Now, you could choose to run stabs instead. The gun doesn't necessarily need it because it is pretty accurate, like the Strv K is now, since it had the buff. And yeah, you can get away with not using the stabs, but if you do use the stabs, then it just allow you to get that shot off a tiny bit quicker. Basically, I mean, the aim time on this tank is pretty good anyway, so you don't have to wait too long to aim in, but the stabs will help you get that shot off a little bit faster. But like I say, you don't necessarily need it because the gun is pretty accurate anyway. So we've got a pretty decent start to this game. We've not taken any damage, picked up a bit of assistance and managed to get 4 penetrations in of our own. We're going to try and get a shot at this Action X, and we do, and we actually damaged their ammo rack, if you just see there. And he hasn't managed to repair it, so maybe he's on a cooldown on his repair. and he pokes up again. We get a shot straight through the lower plate again and detonate the Amarak, picking up all of the damage of that tank. You know, I think Amaracking him for about roughly 1,000 damage there, so a really nice start to the game. You know, already on 3,000 damage here, and we're starting to take quite a lot of control of this game. In the sense that we're now, you know, 15 versus 11, we are up on the scoreline. Now, I want to try and get more involved, and I couldn't push straight across because of that Italian tank destroyer was in a very good position. So I decided to take a little bit of a detour to try and get to him to avoid taking damage. We've kind of took control almost on the hill on the right hand side, so I think it's given me enough leeway to try and move up, and I want to deal with this heavy tank which is on the right hand side. We've got 2 tanks here. If all 3 of us peak at the same time, then we're just going to be able to delete this heavy tank together. I'm trying to find a way to get over there without taking shots of that Italian DD. I've had to go really wide here because there's, you know, a bit of a roadblock and he gets his Amarak gets damaged there, and then we're able to actually Amarak a second tank, picking up an extra 600 hit points on that tank. VZ's pushing forward, but I'm not quite able to, you know, get that position because I've got my friendly tank in that position at the moment. But now we're able to move over, and we should, if he pokes again that VZ, we'll be in a good position because also we've got that 10 degrees of gun depression to try and get some shots onto him. But as you can see, this Italian TD is making it difficult for me to poke there. If I overextend, he's going to be able to get shots in. VZ comes through, I'll go through the track shot. He actually bounces off my hull, and then he bounces his second shot there off my turret armour, and I'll pick up, you know, some more block assistance there. And now that VZ is on reload. We bounce another shot there off of the Italian tank destroyer. He then misses the second shot, and obviously I don't know how many he's got left in the clip, but at this point I want to just, you know, I'm tempted, you know, on full hit points just to go around and try getting shots on this VZ. Because I want to try and progress this game. Like I say, we are up on the tanks here. I know, you know, that Italian TD, it's potential that he's on the reload now. That's what I'm kind of thinking. You know, I don't know for sure, but he can't have many left in the clip. So I am going to go around and try and deal with this VZ while he's distracted. Put one in. Now we're going to back up to make sure if he is going to shoot me, that he's going to, you know, have to extend himself. And when he does do that, he gets shot by our friendly team. And then we get one in to fill him out, to finish him off for our third kill. And the Italian tank destroyer comes out. We're just going to take our time, aim for the lower plate, and pick up our fourth kill of the game, putting us on to 5,000 damage, and only 2 enemy teams remaining, the enemy Death Star and the enemy Fun Police. So it's just whether we can get that Death Star. The Fun Police is going to get taken out before we've got a chance to get there, but hopefully we might, you know, we just might be able to get an opportunity to shoot that Death Star potentially, because I think he's going to be around this corner. Obviously, we've got to be a bit careful he doesn't get a full pen on us. As we're making an approach, he fires his gun, he's on reload. I'm going to go for the track shot here to track him in place. We do track him in place, and we get the reward of picking up all that track assistance, and we are able to get the shot in to finish him off in the end as well for our 5th kill. Bring this then to replay number 1 with 2 more replays to come. Let's see how we did there. We end up this game with 5 kills, 5,200 damage, and I think about 2,000 track assistance there. So, yeah, a really good game. And yeah, let's move on to the second replay of the video. Okay, so here we are for the second replay of the video. This time we are on Fisherman's Bay, and there is 2 enemy Fun Police and 3 enemy light tanks. Now there is, we are top tier in this game, so it is a tier 9 lobby. So yeah, we can be quite dominant, also we are top tier. Initially we're going to push to sort of the main ridge to see if we can punish anything crossing, maybe get a shot in some of the light tanks if they're, you know, overly aggressive. The main you know, threat for me here, if I'm honest, is the Fun Police. Now, if they start to pay attention to us, then we're probably going to have to move from this position. I mean, we don't have to worry about being capped out, obviously, in this game, because it is a team destruction. And here, you see, I'm hold down, I'm getting targeted by something else, and I assume that's at the back where the area I wanted to try and cross. But obviously I'm hold down to them, and I am top tier, so there's a good chance I'll bounce shots as they come in, as long as I can stay hold down. The biggest threat is the enemy artillery, and I would have to be careful. But at the moment, they're not paying too much attention to myself, which is good, so I don't have to concern myself right now. Enemy Conqueror pokes up, bounces off our turret, and we're able to get a nice shot in through the lower plate, and that enemy Conqueror is taking quite a lot of punishment from our friendly team here. It looks like it's got the stock turret there. We're going to try and get a shot in the side of his turret. Unfortunately, we don't get that shot in, so we're going to have to pay a little bit more patient and wait for him to extend himself again. See if we can take out his tank, so he's going to keep us spotted where he is right now, but he is taking punishment from our friendly fun police. He gets a shot in from the friendly fun police, and we're able to then take him out, picking up our first kill of the game. Again, we're just still targeted here. I'm assuming that it's something we can't quite spot at the back, which is looking for shots onto us. I'm just going to wait, see if we can catch anything crossing late to the town, and then I may have to change my game plan and potentially start pushing into the town to get a bit more damage. We do get one shot into the E75 crossing. It doesn't look like I'm going to get any more shots from this position. I think it's kind of at this point, it's not too useful for me right now unless the enemy team push right through the town, and I don't think it's going to happen because we've got a lot of the team already pushing quite aggressively through that town area. So I'm just going to decide to get involved now. Let's try and push through the town with our friendly team. We've still got all our hit points in the game. You have a decent hit point pool with this tank. We've got 1850 hit points, and we're going to try and use those hit points to clear out the town area. And in which case, if we do, we should be able to kind of pin the enemy team in their base potentially, and maybe even pick up some assistance from spotting the enemy tanks at the base. So we're going through, we're just checking what the hit points are on the tanks and what tanks they are. This E75 on the left, he's my target at this moment because I can shoot this E75 with basically only getting shot by the E75, and I do have this mouse breaker with me. So at this point, I'm thinking, you know what, I'm just going to go out. I'm going to go toe to toe, just trade out and use those hit points because E75's already on half health. We should be able to kill him, and we may end up losing potentially half our hit points here. But if my friendly mouse breaker pens this tank as well, then we're going to be able to kill him pretty quickly. At this point, I just want to get rid of this tank because he's kind of holding us up at the moment. So unfortunately, we have lost half our hit points, but we have at least managed to pick up the kill on that E75, and the later this game goes on, the less hit points I'm probably going to need to finish on. So the enemy team are retreating. We're going to push around to see if we can get any shots into this Tier 8 French heavy tank. We do so, putting him on a one shot and damage his ammo rack. We're using this building as a bit of protection, but he's actually running away at this point, and we're just going to try and poke round. He's on a one shot. Let's just get rid of this tank now, which we do, picking up our third kill of the game, putting us on 3,000 damage. Enemy fun police misses, and our next target is this enemy E75. We're going to go around this way so we don't get shot from any enemy fun police. Get a nice shot into him. We've got a friendly tank comes around, gets one in, puts them into a one shot. We're going to be able to get the finishing shot on this tank now and pick it up our fourth kill of the game. We've only 4 enemy tanks remaining, and we're looking pretty strong at this point. Get a nice shot into enemy fun police, and then we get pushed forward. We get spotted by a diamondback, which is unlit, and he gets a shot into us. I can still probably eat 2 shots potentially off of the diamondback, so we're just going to push forward. We do eat 1, we get 1 into him, and now we're going to keep pushing forward. This is a bit risky. He could potentially kill us here, but thankfully he doesn't roll high enough, and we do take him out, and that picks up our 5th kill of the game. We're only 2 enemy tanks remaining. Now we do only have 27 points, but unless they're going to fire a HE at us, we've got a good chance of just being completely safe, because we'll be able to play hold down and get shots into them. I mean, there's an enemy T77 spotted. Very unlikely he's reloaded a full HE shot to get clipped to take us out. So we're just going to poke. We'll be able to bounce the shots off of his tank, and hopefully he's kind of trapped in the open, so maybe we'll be able to get our top gun by picking up a kill on him. We go for the shot here, and unfortunately this moves and we miss our shot. Well, we hit our shot, but we don't penetrate it. And at this point I'm thinking I'm probably going to miss out on the kill, but thankfully we do actually get enough time in the end, and we do pick up our 6th kill, confirming our Top Gun medal, and putting us on to just shy of 6,000 damage and 1,000 spotting assistance. Enemy Trinity gets spotted. We try and snap a shot into him. We're not able to get it through. I'm a one shot at this point, but we've got 6 tanks versus 1, so I'm feeling like we're probably going to win this, and I can be a little bit riskier. We do get a shot there into the Trinity, tracking him into place. I'm hoping we're going to be able to get a second shot in and actually pick up the Devastator shot, but he does get shot down by our chariots here before we get that opportunity. And that brings us then to replay number 2. So another quick replay with one more replay to come. But let's see how we finished off. We've got 6 skills. We get the ace tanker, the high caliber. And yeah, that's then for replay number 2 with the final replay to come. So let's move on. Okay, so here we are for the final replay on Westfield. Again, this time it's a tier 10 lobby. So we are bottom tier. There is one enemy light tank in the game and one enemy front police. So initially we are going to push up to this ridge, sort of nearer to the bridge, to try and get shots in or covering shots on any tanks which potentially go up to the top ridges in the map. If we then get enough support, we may decide that we're going to actually push across. But initially we're going to wait to see what's coming, try and work out. Get a feel for how many of the enemy team may be there by any information we get. Any tanks we just spotted, we can kind of then work out whether it's safe to make the push or whether we need to sort of just hold back and try and get covering shots in. Because a lot of our team have actually pushed to the opposite side of the map and kind of playing the TD sort of campy spot, if you like. So I've kind of thought, I don't really have enough to push up to these ridges in front of us now. And I'm just going to sit back and be patient and wait and try and get shots in when stuff poke out. At the moment, obviously it's a risk here that I can get shot by the fun police, but to be fair, on Westfields there's not a lot of places where you're safe to getting shot by the fun police. And at least in this position we are actually hold down. Now I should actually say this first replay we're actually running stabs and not the traction system. So we've got less top speed, but it does give you that extra accuracy, so you really do aim in very, very, very quickly, and you really don't have to wait long at all when you are running the stabs. Like I say, you don't necessarily have to run them because the tank's pretty accurate without them, but if you're not bothered about the extra top speed, then it's an option for you. I mean, I opted in the end to go for the traction system, but in this first replay I am running the stabs. So that Death Star pokes up, and unfortunately we missed an opportunity to get a shot in here, but we think the back chat's going to make a poke, and we get a shot in, confirming our second penetration of the game. And now we're looking to try and get a shot here into this enemy Chinese tank destroyer, but we don't quite get the shots. And then this back chat comes out again, and we get a nice shot in, damaging his ammo rack there, which is good. And I think that's puts that back chat on to a one shot, I believe. And there's quite a few tanks pushing this way, so I'm glad I actually in the end opted not to push straight across that ridge, because I would have been fighting quite a lot of guns, and I am able to pick up a fair amount of damage at the start of the game. We didn't get another shot into that enemy S-barn there, putting us on to 15,000 damage with 4 penetrations. And we are starting to win this game. As you can see, we're taking quite a lot of control on the other side of the map, which is good, because that might pressure the fun police, not to, you potentially might get spotted, and you might not have to concern yourself with that. We get a nice track shot there into that Chinese heavy tank, looking to try and get the second to keep him tracked in place, but we don't quite have the reload in order to do so, and they do get out of safety there. But we want 2,000 damage here. We are see tanks are targeting us, but because we're hold down, you can see this tank's armor can be very, very effective. When you are hold down, the turret armor is really good. It's only the nasty tank destroyers which are going to pen you when you're using your gun depression to increase that armor angle, basically. Enemy Tortoise has moved into a position where we've got shots into. We're going to get rid of this building just so he's got less places to hide, and then we're going to look to try and get some shots in here. We get a nice shot in through the back of the tank and damaging the fuel tank, which is important, because what we're going to do, if he doesn't repair this fuel tank, we're going to aim for the fuel tank again, and we actually manage to set it on fire, and we pick up quite a lot of extra damage there, putting us onto just shy of 4,000 damage, and the Tortoise quickly gets taken out by our friendly chieftain. And we're starting to take some strong control of this game. We are up on the tanks now, and the enemy team doesn't have that much map control left. If we can take out this enemy medium tank here, we may actually start to think about pushing further forward to try and keep up with the pace of the game, really. But we still need to try and get rid of that angle on the right, because otherwise I'm going to get shot you know, crossfired when I actually go up there. But our friendly heavy tank, I think, is starting to actually make a push on that angle, and he gets taken out. The enemy medium tank gets taken out, the enemy Italian medium tank, and now that is our cue to start moving forward because we need to get to the rest of the damage. There is actually a 2-man mouse platoon in this game, so we're hopefully, you know, we can try and find those mouses. I'm not too sure where they are. I'm guessing that they may be where the church is, so we just get a little love tap there by our friendly light tank. But we might be able to pick up some damage on those mouses. But first we need to deal with his enemy heavy tank. But he's quickly going to get swarmed by, you know, all three of, you know, all of our team really on this side of the map. So he's not going to last for very long. I'm not going to stop and aim shots at this tank while he's hold down like that. I'm just going to keep pushing, because in a minute he's probably going to have to get turned, and that's when I'm going to get easy shots into him. So here we go. He does turn to face his armour in front of the majority of the tanks, which does leave him vulnerable to me to get shot here into the back of through his engine deck there. He's ammo racked. We get a second one in, and we do pick up the kill, putting us on to 5,000 damage with 4 enemy tanks remaining, 2 of which is the mouse platoon. So hopefully they're on pretty healthy hit points. We've spotted one of the mouse who is, you know, almost full health. So we can get over there. There's a chance we can rack up some damage on them. We just need to go as fast as we possibly can to get to the damage. At this point, you know, the game's won, I feel, because they've got no control of the map. We're just going to be leaning down on them from this hill here, and they're going to be in all sorts of bother. It's just, can we get as much out of this game as possible? We get a lovely shot on the move onto that mouse, damaging his ammo rack. We're going to try and get a second shot into him before he gets into cover. We are able to do so, putting us into 5,500 damage. We're blocking quite a few shots here. You know, we are somewhat hold down, but at this point, on full health, I'll just trade shots if I need to, because I just want to get as much, you know, damage as we can. And I can't take those hit points with us to the next game either. That mouse gets set on fire. We're hoping to try and get a nice shot in. Unfortunately, we don't pen that shot. We're going to turn our attention to this E75 here, bounce another one off of that mouse there, get a nice shot through his lower plate. Avery is going in on this poor E75. Unfortunately, he's kind of blocking my shot, but he slaps him, puts him onto a one shot with a splash, and leaves us 1 enemy mouse tank left in the game. On a sliver of hit points, are we able to get the kill? Just managed to squeeze in that kill, picking up our 3rd kill and our 20th penetration. Let's just see how we finished up there. We get 6,000, you know, 600 odd damage, 1,100 assistance, 2,400 blocked, and we get the ace tanker and the high caliber. So that is in for the video. Like I say, is this tank worth it? I mean, for 16,000 gold, because it's a lot of money, and because you've already got this, you know, the Strv K, which is essentially the same tank. I mean, with a little bit of difference. Basically, it's faster but doesn't have the turret armor. Yeah, I'm not sure it is. That's a lot of money, really. I mean, do I like the tank? Yes. Is it worth 16k gold? I'm not sure. But yeah, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, and happy tanking.
Enemy in sight. Hadouken!